The wife looked at her husband pierced by a steel nail. She immediately pulled it out without hesitation. Then she went home and made a pot of meat dumplings for her in-laws. However, the grandfather felt something was wrong as he ate. He then told his grandmother about it. The woman remained calm and even hoped that the elderly couple would report it to the police soon. Soon after, the woman was taken to the police station by her in-laws on suspicion of murder. The woman's name is Ganya. After her husband died in a car accident, she and her daughter received a compensation payment. However, the insurance claim was delayed. It wasn't until her daughter accidentally went missing that the claims officer found her. This brought some warmth into their otherwise bleak lives. The woman thought this was a sign of God's favor, making her meet such a kind and gentle man. She never expected this to be the beginning of her hellish life. After marriage, the man revealed his true colors. All his kindness was just to get the compensation money. After spending all the money, beating his wife became a common occurrence. Whenever this happened, the in-laws would watch coldly and even add fuel to the fire, thinking that the son had married a second-hand wife and should be grateful to have a name. Originally, the woman wanted to tolerate for a complete family, but the man shouldn't have targeted her daughter. It was an open secret that the husband was out of control. The woman's tolerance was remarkable. However, the man even planned to kill his wife for insurance fraud. He decided to let the mistress die before his wife. On Valentine's Day, he arrived earlier than the mistress and the woman. When the man saw him, he had a bad expression. Who would have thought that the next second, the woman stabbed him? After dealing with the woman, the next target was the mistress. Seeing the mistress being arrogant as usual, she not only boasted about taking the woman's husband but also said that the house now belonged to her. Then she took out a luxury bag and proudly claimed it was bought by the woman's husband. The more she talked, the more she showed off. Unexpectedly, two easy targets were now in her hands. The woman decided to kill the arrogant mistress first, so she suggested playing a game with her husband. She gave him a knife and promised that if he killed the mistress, she would forgive him and spare his life. Then she dragged him in front of the mistress. The husband looked at his former lover. How could he bring himself to kill her? But his wife's urging was like a death sentence. To save his own life, he agreed to die. The woman quickly stabbed him. In order to be able to raise her daughter, he needed to create a perfect alibi plan. Then he took the phones of the two lovers and found a breakthrough from their phones. It turned out that the mistress was the wife of his friend. Not long ago, the two men had fought over the mistress. Now, this friend had borrowed a lot of high-interest loans and was preparing to run away. The woman thought that she and her husband had similar body types. She then hit her husband's face with heavy objects. Next, she asked the man to compensate her for medical expenses, citing the previous injury he caused to her husband. At this point, the man was already running away and had no money left. He used this opportunity to threaten the man to give him his jade pendant, or else he would tell the loan shark where he was going. The man had no choice but to give it to him. Unbeknownst to him, both the jade pendant and his current departure were crucial for the woman's alibi. After everything was settled, the woman returned home and made meat dumplings for her in-laws. Then the scene at the beginning happened. Soon after, the woman was taken to the police station. Because the son hadn't come home for several days, the dumplings the daughter-in-law made not only tasted strange but also prevented the daughter from eating them. Therefore, the elderly couple was certain that their son had been killed by the daughter-in-law. However, after the investigators tested the ingredients of the dumplings, they found that they were filled with rats, so they wouldn't blame the woman for putting rats in them. Download the Daily Short app to watch full episodes for free.